bring you some more now on the arrest of an intruder at the White House in the United States. We're joined from Washington by our correspondent Ashish Joshi. So Ashish, lots of reports circulating around this. Tell us what you know.
Tom, it looks like this has been now corroborated by a statement from the Secret Service. Apparently, yesterday evening at about 11:30 p.m. local Washington time, an intruder managed to scale a perimeter fence on the south side of the White House grounds, made his way across the grounds towards the White House, where he was apprehended by uniformed police acting together with Secret Service agents. And he was apprehended. This man had a backpack. The backpack has been searched. He's still being questioned. But at the moment, there's nothing to suggest that he was carrying anything dangerous, or the grounds have been thoroughly searched now. Nothing has been found on those grounds. The suspect continues to be questioned by security service professionals. And just to say that President Trump this weekend was in the White House. He was just a few hundred yards away from where this man was arrested. Normally, President Trump has, certainly for the past few weeks, been returning to his home in Miami. But on this particular weekend, he is in the White House. He was in residence. And this suspect, who hasn't been identified, was arrested just a few hundred yards away. White House security breaches aren't common, but they're not uncommon. There was one in September last year. September 2014. That was a break into the White House itself. And there was an attempt to get into the White House, across the White House grounds, in November 2015. So they are very aware of just how accessible the White House can be across that perimeter fence, which is quite controversial.
Okay, Ashish, thank you very much. So, quick recap to tell you what we know. A man arrested after an attempted break-in in the White House about midnight Friday. No threat to the president. Sources telling us that the president was not in any danger, but he was in the White House. More on that through the evening.
President Trump had to say about this midnight security lapse.
Secret Service did a fantastic job last night. I appreciate it. Secret Service did a fantastic job. It was a troubled person. It was very sad, actually. The Secret Service was fantastic.
Now, the intruder made it all the way to the South Portico entrance before Secret Service stopped him. I want to bring in senior White House correspondent Athena Jones. Athena, what are you hearing about the suspect? This is 26-year-old Jonathan Tran.
Hi, Anna. Well, we know he's going to be arraigned today at D.C. Superior Court. He's being held at the courthouse until then. But I have new reporting from producer Lori Uri, who spoke with Tran's younger brother in California. Tran's younger brother, Brian, said that his older brother was troubled. That's the same word the president used. That Jonathan Tran was troubled after being laid off from his job at an electrical engineering company. His brother says that he was living in his car and eating junk food. Now, we know that Jonathan Tran, who's 26 years old, graduated from San Jose State University with an electrical engineering degree, and that he had been stressed out from the job that he was later laid off from. Brian Tran, the younger brother, said that a Secret Service agent called the family's home on Friday night to inform them of the fence jumping incident, and he said that his mother is very troubled about the matter. The brother also said that his older brother Jonathan has been a very good brother to him. So the Tran family, clearly surprised and troubled by this incident. But there you heard the president praising the Secret Service, and White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer provided a few more details as well. He said that last night the Secret Service informed the president that the Secretary of Homeland Security, General Kelly, was kept aware of the situation the entire time. And then Spicer reiterated that the president has full faith in the Secret Service, saying the Secret Service did a phenomenal job, and they continue to do a phenomenal job of protecting the president and the First Family, and the president was very appreciative of their efforts.
He is in court right now, where we're learning a few new details. Any idea why he jumped the fence?
It's not clear, but certainly his family said he was troubled. The president called him troubled. There may not be a reason beyond that, we're just not clear yet. We'll have to wait for more details, wait to hear what more the suspect might say. We know from the police report that he talked about having had an appointment with the president, called himself a friend of the president. It doesn't appear that he was aiming to necessarily harm him, but again, we just don't know. We do know that he was carrying mace in that backpack, and we do know that he made it very, very close to the residence, though not inside the residence. The president was never in any harm.
Good to know. Athena Jones, thank you for your report.
Breaking news we're following: an intruder reportedly breaching the White House grounds late last night. We're just getting that into MSNBC. This while the president was in residence. I want to bring in NBC's Kelly O'Donnell, who's at the White House. And Kelly, what do we know?
Well, Richard, we've been in touch with the United States Secret Service and with officials here at the White House, and we are expecting still a more clear statement about what happened from officials. But you outlined it. Friday night, before midnight, there was an intruder who breached the perimeter here at the White House on the south side. We're coming to you from the north side, and that intruder was apprehended. Officials say there were no known weapons or areas of concern on that person, and that the suspect was turned over to the Metropolitan Police here in Washington, D.C. So very few official details yet, but to step back and consider the implications, this would be the first such security incident in the Trump administration. Matters like this have happened before. There was an incident in 2014 where someone crossed the fence here on the front side, was able to run up the entire front lawn of the White House and enter the residence and to move through the White House. That was back in 2014. After that time, we've seen significant changes here at the White House in some of the attempts to keep what are known in sort of our circles as fence jumpers from getting close. So part of what you would see if you were visiting here in Washington, additional barriers outside of the White House to keep passersby from getting too close. In this case, we're talking about Friday night, late at night, when most of the official staff would not be here, but of course Secret Service has a presence 24 hours a day. We don't know all the specifics yet, but what we do know based on the president's schedule was that he was at home. We don't know if any other members of the family or other guests may have been here as well. So the U.S. Secret Service tells us they will have more to say about this shortly, but it always raises concerns about a potential risk to the president, to the residents here, and just a test of Secret Service capabilities. Never a good news story for them when there is a breach like this. At least at this point, what we're learning from officials is that we don't believe there was any serious threat in terms of any weapons or anything like that. We'll need to wait for more details. But when you consider the pressure on the Secret Service to protect the president, the first family, and in this new White House, it's a much larger first family than for the Obamas. These are real tests and real difficulties, and so this will get a lot of attention. Congress has oversight on the Secret Service, of course. I've reached out to sources on Capitol Hill. They had not yet been informed about this incident. There will be, of course, a new set of officials. So Secretary John Kelly now in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the U.S. Secret Service. We are told he was briefed. So as we get more details, we'll bring them to you. But it's one of those incidents that causes a lot of anxiety and raises questions about what changes, if any, need to be made. And as far as we know, everything with the president was perfectly fine, and that he may have not even been aware of it at the time. We hope to be able to fill in some of these blanks as the day goes on.